Welcome to Tactical Reviews and a look at the new Extrema Ratio Caimano Nero NA. And you'll have seen the previous version of the Caimano Nero without the NA in front. The NA is not automatic. There was a lot of demand for this knife, but many countries' restrictions for automatic knives meant that it was just not an option for many people. So here it says literally just landed, and I wanted to take a look. What I'm also going to do is just bring in a couple of other Extrema Ratio models, just a little comparison. So the Panthera that we've looked at in another review, and of course the Sartre. This is the standard black edition. So we'll size compare those a little bit later. So first look around. And yeah, there is we saw what comes in the box. So the knife, and underneath the padding we've got the normal quality certificates, guarantee and maintenance. So we don't have a belt pouch or anything, just the knife. We'll zoom in and take a really close look at the details in a minute. So it's not an automatic. The automatic version has got a button, but it is a flipper. So we can see with the flipper tab. We also have thumb studs. And this knife comes with a part serrated blade. Quite nicely, relatively short section of the serration. We also have the lockable lock, so it's a liner lock, and on the side here we have a lever that rotates round, and now I can't disengage the liner lock, so gives me that little bit of extra safety. It doesn't matter what I do gripping the knife, there's no way I can dislodge the liner lock with the lock in place. So aluminium handles with some piercing, a steel pocket clip and a glass breaking striker. So let's zoom right in. Oh, in fact, just before that, let's have a look next to Panthera. And the Sartre. Obviously, the Sartre is a small neck knife type knife, so it is quite a small knife. And the Panthera is a large knife with a very long handle, so you can just see how that fits in size wise. And now we'll zoom right in. Okay, so here we are, very zoomed in, so I can really pick out the details. So as we've seen in the first part, we have a lock for the lock. We can't engage that while the knife is folded because the liner lock needs to be engaged to enable that to actually function. So you can see the flipper tab, a bit of jimping, the thumb stud which has a little Allen head bolt there, which means you can undo that and remove it should you wish to. I can't say for definite if it's acting as a stop. I don't think it's quite touching the handle. So on the other side we have the locked pivot bolt. Extrema Ratio is really nice design where you can see the scalloped edge of the pivot bolt and a small locking bolt that's engaging with that. That means there is no way that that pivot bolt can start to loosen unless you remove that screw. So nicely shaped grip, a recess so that the clip can be flipped around and fitted the other way. Here's that steel pocket clip, 3 bolts or screws holding that in place. Feels like a nice tension. And there we have the glass breaker striker. You see that's held in place by one of the handle scale bolts, also using that as a spacer, like the other handle spacers here. Single side for the liner, so it's on the side where we have the liner lock. On the other handle there is no liner. Okay, so this is what's effectively the chisel side of that, of the serration. If we have a look on the other side, you can see the serration this is the side where it's fully cut in. Just taking in the blade shape here. So that has no top edge sharpening at all. Of course you could sharpen the top edge if you wanted. It's a very dagger type, it's a spear point blade. And now we can see the lock functioning. So we have the liner lock engaged, and then the locking lever will prevent full release of that liner. There is a little bit of movement, but not enough to actually release the lock. So I'm just going to snap the knife open to get that liner fully engaged. Just see if we can see the lock block. No, not really. Okay. And we're running on some form of standard washer, it's not bearings, so perfectly reliable whatever you might end up, whatever environment you might end up in. Okay, and for the next section we're going to look at the detailed technical measurements all the way around. And we're now back for the detailed technical measurements for the Extrema Ratio Caimano Nero NA, the non-automatic version. So there is no sheath, pouch or anything else, just the knife, so that's the only weight measurement. 162.3 grams for the knife. Okay, folded length is 135 millimeters. Now here the widest part is across where the flipper tab is. So 43.4 millimeters. So overall length. Actually no, 230 millimeters. Blade length from the front of the handle, 92 millimeters. So the clip is removable, so I'm going to measure handle thickness as the widest point, assuming no clip. And that's 16.5 millimeters. Handle depth I'm going to take across where one of the finger grips is. That's 28.7 millimeters. Now we'll check the balance point. Just hitting that part of the handle, so let's flip over for this. Okay, there we go. So the balance point is 126 millimeters from the tip. Blade thickness 3.9 millimeters. Let's have a look at the grind. So obviously it's a spear point design, so large swedge on the back, effectively almost creating a center line. We'll just have a look at the, so it is flat grind on the primary bevel. Let's take the grind length at the front of the serrated part, so at the end of the plain edge. 15.7 millimeters, and at the same point a blade depth of 27.3 millimeters. So now measuring the primary bevel angle. So that is 12 degrees and 10 minutes. 12 degrees, 10 minutes. Okay, factory edge bevel angle. What I'm also going to do is see whether or not I can pick up the angles of the serration, so I'll do that as a separate measurement. Okay, I need to come out of the bright light for this. So the plane edge is 30 degrees per side. So right hand and left hand are bevel angles are 30 degrees. Now the serration one side is effectively the primary bevel, or half the primary bevel angle. The single side of the serration is 30 degrees. So as we had, let's say about 12 degrees for the primary bevel angle, plus 30, so half of 12, about 6, so about 36 degrees in total for the serration angle. So have a look at the point angle. And that is 61 degrees. Thickness behind the edge I'm going to take at the end of the plane edge. And we have 0.98 millimeters. Just going to take that measurement again. Well, 0.98 to 1 millimeter thickness behind the edge. As far as rake goes, I would say this is pretty much dead straight knife, so 0 degrees rake. And now we'll take the factory edge sharpness measurements. So in this case, the heel measurement is going to be in one of the serrations. I'll probably take the center serration, and then center of the plane edge and near the tip. So blade center first, or center of plane edge. $356 grams. So the heel, and this will be in the serration. 231 grams, and then the tip of the blade, and that's 437 grams. Okay, so that's the detailed technical measurement rundown for the Extrema Ratio Caimano Nero NA. Thanks for joining me. Remember, get informed, be prepared, stay sharp.